I have a major trade report that I must get to you guys because this has some serious implications for the Atlanta Hawks. If you've been under a rock, we know what happened to Jalen Johnson. He's unfortunately out for the season. So that puts me in a situation where the Atlanta Hawks and myself have to do some deep diving as to who's going to be with the team, who's no longer with the team, who stays, who goes, because the trade deadline is literally 1 week away and we need to know where this team is going. All right. The trade talks have kind of been stagnant. If you've noticed, trade talks have been slightly stagnant. We haven't heard much. And so with all of that coming up, the trade deadline is happening. Jalen Johnson is no longer with the team right now due to season-ending surgery. We need to know how this is going to work because I'm not going to hold you. There was a lot of optimism literally like a month and a half ago. And now all of a sudden, a lot of that has changed due to the fact of what's been going on and what happened. But we are going to get into all of this. I got a couple of guys that I have to mention from other teams and how they and their trade rumors and whatnot can possibly implicate the Atlanta Hawks. Where do we go from here? But before I go any further, what's going on? My name is Walter Pollard. This is Atlanta Hawks Digest, your home for Atlanta Hawk information, and we have got to get into it. All the trade rumors, things of that such. But before we go any further, let me go ahead and start the day off right really quickly. Listen, guys, about 91% of you guys are not subscribed. 91% of the people that are viewing this content aren't subscribers. Definitely subscribe. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Share it to somebody that they might like it. Okay, let's hit 1,000. Okay, let's hit 1,000. All right, let's hit 1,000 subscribers on this page. We definitely want to see the numbers go up. Let's try to get this page as jumping as possible. You dig what I'm saying? As the young folks say, let's get it jumping. We lit. But it's a lot of implications, okay? Trade talks have definitely ramped up around the league tremendously within the last, 24 to 48 hours. But we got to talk about it, man. We have to talk about this young gentleman, De'Aaron Fox, with the Sacramento Kings, because news has come out that he is being shopped out by the Sacramento Kings. And Shams had even went out and reported that the Sacramento Kings have gotten dozens of calls regarding this young gentleman. He is one of those stars. Let's just say that he's a star. 8 years in the league. He's been very tremendous for the Sacramento Kings. He's been a good player. And so earlier this week, the Kings put out a message saying that they're interested in trading away their star point guard, De'Aaron Fox. And again, Shams said that there have been multiple teams that have reached out for this young gentleman. Now, here's the contract stuff. Let's get into the contract and the money of things, right? So De'Aaron Fox has 1 year remaining on his contract right now. And I want to say he's up. He bypassed a contract extension earlier this year offered to him by the Sacramento Kings. So this means that this gentleman, let's say he moves to another team, or let's say he just sticks with the team. When it's time to talk money, okay, he is up for a max contract. He is eligible for a 4-year, $229 million max contract. Major shouts out to that guy because he's been balling. Now, how does this implicate the Atlanta Hawks, right? One of the things that is a major difference between basketball and football is the trade and the trade talks as far as what teams give away. And I've seen a lot of teams give away potential picks, a 2028 pick or a 2031 pick, things of that such. So right now, the Atlanta Hawks, I want to say we own a first-round draft. No, they own a first-round draft pick. The Kings own a first-round draft pick by the Atlanta Hawks. So what that means is they finish in the top 12 in the Western Conference. The Atlanta Hawks get the pick. They finish below 12, of course, or 12 and below, they get the pick. And with De'Aaron Fox moving or possibly being traded away, and along with a lot of the other teams being interested in this guy, this basically says that there could be a potential chance that we lose that pick with somebody who is a top point getter on his team, somebody that is a scorer, somebody that gets to the basket, that can change the game. Him being traded away definitely changes a lot for the Atlanta Hawks. And just being completely honest, man, it gets even worse because the San Antonio Spurs, they're like one of the number one teams that are going after this gentleman. And we all know the history that the Atlanta Hawks have with the Spurs, going back to the DeJounte Murray trade and then giving up all of those picks and then having to deal away DeJounte Murray because the deal didn't work. So we know now that that is going to be a major deal. Now, moving away from this gentleman, because we already know how that can implicate the Hawks, but now Yusuf Nurkic, my apologies. Yusuf Nurkic, he's being shopped out by the Phoenix Suns, and the Hawks have been in conversations with the Phoenix Suns to acquire this big. Now, we've been talking about Clint Capela. We've been talking about the fact that Onyeka Okongwu has taken over the starting spot for Onyeka Okongwu. I had even mentioned how that is a possible telltale sign as to where the Atlanta Hawks are leaning in regards to if they wanted to retain or get rid of him. I've even mentioned in the beginning of the summer, not in the beginning of the summer, but in the beginning of the season, that he at one point during the summer was also being shopped out by the Hawks to go to the New York Knicks. Unfortunately, Karl Anthony Towns ended up getting that trade for Julius Randle going over to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we know now that that wasn't the case. But with the Phoenix Suns looking to make a trade by the trade deadline, and also the Suns, they really have enough trade talks surrounding them with the Bradley Beal situation, him not wanting to be there, and also them being linked to the Jimmy Butler debacle down in Miami, and how is a possibility that Jimmy Butler could be headed over to the Phoenix Suns. So with the Yusuf Nurkic, it's going to be a big deal. Now, the Suns have already traded Josh Okogie and 3 second-round draft picks to the Charlotte Hornets for their 7-footer Nick Richards and a second-round pick. So right now, you look at it, the Suns are at a surplus of bigs. They have a lot of bigs, and they don't know who the starter is. With the Atlanta Hawks, we at one point had a lot of bigs, but now I want to say that the tree-shaking elimination has started to take place. We know that Clint Capela, he's on an expiring contract. He could possibly be on his way out, and we'll get more into that. But I want to read you something that Mike Scott said, something from Hoops Hype. He basically reported that this week the Suns are looking to pair up one of the first-round picks they obtained from the Utah Jazz with Nurkic to acquire a high-level rotation player. Now, who might that high-level rotation player? They're not looking for a starter. They're not looking for somebody to change the game or make something different than what it already is. They want him to come in and get along with the program, get in line, and hopefully affect the team. And we already know that person is Bogdan Bogdanović. It's Bogdan Bogdanović. He has been in talks with, well, he hasn't been in talks, but the Atlanta Hawks have been in talks with the Suns, and they've been in talks with whom they could get rid of. And Bogdan Bogdanović fits that profile. Bogdan Bogdanović fits the profile. He is one of the players that could possibly find his way out. And I mean, I can't say that we didn't see it coming. And he's one of the 2 players that I had mentioned that they could find themselves out. Okay, and we remember what I played earlier with Lou Will. Lou Will had even went so far as saying that when you see players start to come off the bench a little bit more and play some more, it's because they're being shopped out and they're being looked at by other teams. Now, I honestly felt as though Bogdan Bogdanović hadn't necessarily put his best foot forward this season. He's currently in a shooting slump. And I want to say it's slightly contagious because I saw a clip of him practicing with rookie Zaccharie Risacher. And I'm just being completely honest. Hopefully that juju has not crossed over to him because he's shooting bad as well. But with this potential trade being on the table, you know what I mean? He could find himself out, as well as Clint Capela. I've talked about how Clint Capela could find himself out of the Atlanta Hawks right now. I told you how he had a expiring contract and things of that such. So we know that there's a strong case for that. And also, too, he, as well as even in his own talks, or the Hawks are in their own talks with another team that could possibly come and scoop Clint Capela up. and that team would be the Chicago Bulls. Now, two sources have shared that the Hawks had contacted the Chicago Bulls about swap for Clint Capela's expiring contract and Nikola Vucevic. But the Bulls, they wanted other assets attached, presumably because of other deals that that they have discussed with the Atlanta Hawks. Now, again, if this is true, this would be good for the Atlanta Hawks. They have similar contracts with Vucevic and Clint Capela, so these might merge well. Okay, Vucevic right now is averaging about 20 points per game, 55% shooting from the field, 40% from the three-point line. So that automatically is a bump up from what the Atlanta Hawks have already dealt with, because right now the Hawks are looking at being the worst offense so far this season. And then with Jalen Johnson being sidelined for the rest of the season, and majority of our other supporting cast members are sidelined as well, it would help that the Atlanta Hawks can make these things happen. Listen, a lot of different trades are being proposed and a lot of different trades are happening. Two things that I do feel as though we need to pay attention to. One, I do feel as though Clint Capela is going to be out of the Hawks locker room this season. Okay, if it doesn't happen prior to the trade deadline, February 6th, then there's a strong case that by the end of the season he'll be gone. Period. And we also know that Bogdan Bogdanović has drawn a lot of interest from other teams as well, specifically the Suns, in regards to not Nikola. I have to get these names correct, but Jersic. Gosh, you know what I mean. But yeah, these are Jusuf Nurkic. That's what I meant. Jusuf Nurkic. But we know that these things are true. Clint Capela and Bogdan Bogdanović more than likely are going to be out, and I've narrowed it down to those two guys. Those are the ones that I do believe could possibly be sent away and gone by the end of the season. But you tell me, do you believe that these two guys are going to be gone? Let me know what your trade hopefuls are. Let me see what you think, what you would like to see from the Atlanta Hawks. And also, again, before I get out of here, I can't stress it enough. Definitely want to try to hit 1,000 as quickly as possible. So definitely hit the like, share, subscribe button. Let me know, guys. Let me know what you guys feel in the comments. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. But with all that being said, I am out. Peace.